Hey everyone, this is Nitro. So it's now Monday, September 7th, and it's time to do another Nitro setup video. So first things first, let's go over the results of last week's equipment farming before anything else. And so the week before last week, I got 8 SSRs, and I've been getting 8 SSRs for a few weeks now. So last week I ended up actually getting 14 SSRs, which is a nice improvement. Long overdue, given that I find the average tends to be around 10 SSRs in general. And so it was a pretty good week overall. I actually got several useful items. In terms of the crystals, I began last week with 112 vouchers and 2,141 crystals on hand. Due to last week's banner being Maiya and Yulia, I did summon to get Maiya, and I used 100 vouchers to get her. And I currently now have 20 vouchers and 5,451 crystals on hand. So that's an increase of 8 vouchers and 2,110 crystals. The reason it's 2,110 crystals is because I'm also getting an additional 1,200 crystals from my Strategist Squad rewards. So the 8 vouchers, 2,110 crystals is pretty normal, just pretty much the standard weekly increase. In terms of the SSRs I got last week, right? I did the gambles in last week's video, and I ended up getting 2 blue moons in the 9 gambles that I did, because I did 3 weapons, 3 helms, and 3 armors. So the 2 blue moons certainly help. I think I now have another level 50 blue moon with those 2, once I choose to upgrade it. Anyways. Unfortunately though, the SSR accessories for last week were garbage, as usual. I did 2 memory shard purchases, as well as the monthly SSR accessory purchase from the store. It gave me 2 Angel's Feathers and an Elven Belt. All 3 are ultimately trash, really. As for the weekly SSR accessory from the Timeless Trial, that was a giant belt. So I got 4 SSR accessories last week, all of them were useless. I kept the 2 Angel's Feathers for now, because I don't know, maybe I'll make another Angel's Feather level 50, but I can also order them. It's not a big deal. Moving on then. Other than that, from daily dragons, joint battles, and world map battles, I got the following items. So Monday gave me a Ragnarok. This is actually my 6th Ragnarok. I actually have too many Ragnaroks now. I went from, desperately needing them to having way too many. Tuesday gave me a Twilight Armor and a Goddess Left Hand. The Goddess Left Hand I'm keeping because it will allow me to have my 5th Goddess Left Hand at level 30. So if I get 2 more, I'll have a 5th Goddess Left Hand at level 50, and I don't expect to need more than 5 Goddess Left Hands. But I may build more in the future. You just never know, right? For example, Licorice ends up actually being potentially a user of a Goddess Left Hand. So there can be use for additional Goddess Left Hands, you just never know. Wednesday was a Twilight Helmet, which was also ored. Thursday was a Dark Robe and Windcutter Dagger, both of which is ore. Friday gave me actually quite a few SSRs, an Azure Legend, a Death Robe, and a Twilight Armor, 3 of them. Saturday also gave me 3, a Tiara, a Loki's Mask, and an Assault Headgear. So all of these SSRs are basically ore. And then Sunday, surprisingly, the 2 Dragon Dailies gave me a Mimir's War Axe, which is my very first one. I finally got one for Yusuke, and a Seal Guardian. So in total, I ended up keeping 3 of these 11 SSRs, the rest of which was converted into ore. Alright, so in terms of SSRs I still need, it really hasn't changed as a result. Still looking for a 2nd Extreme Magic Bow. Still looking for more Tenyos headdresses, because you can see on the list that I actually want 8 of them. Gizaroth, Iris, Wilder, Deedlit, Licorice, Listel, Liana, and Hobo Lendius. Armor-wise, I'm just looking for last rites at this point. I have 5. I do actually want 9. Right? Juggler wants 1, Listel wants 1, Yusuke wants 1, Angelina wants 1, Ares wants 1, and the Assassins, Zerida, Illustrial, Hiei, Omega all want 1. Maybe you'll also want one for Renata if you use her, right? So still looking for more of these last rites. But yeah, good luck getting them, right? And as for accessories, The accessories I want haven't changed, but the characters who need them have. Right? For the Twilight Star, you want one for Sonya, one for Akaya, and one for Celestial. So I need 2 more of these. For Juggler plushie, I want one for Iris, Tiaris, and Imelda, potentially. So 3 of them. Swordsmith medals, I now want one for Bozel, Landius, and Reen. Technically, you can say Luna wants one, but I don't really think Luna must have one. And Apex boots, Reen can potentially use one, and Ariane Rod. Right. So Apex boots though, I really just want 1 copy at this point. So, but I can function without it. And in terms of shard farming, I've already covered this, but what's worth mentioning is this week, which is going to be the Thursday of this week, which is September 10th, should be a Rainforest, Zerida, and Gizaroth banner. In addition to that banner though, there should also be an equipment banner, which we can call the Trails of Cold Steel equipment banner. And that equipment banner should have an item that is very, very good for Omega, because it gives both attack and skill increase, with all stats increased by 5%. So we'll see. This week's banner, equipment banner, may be one I have to draw on if I plan to continue to use Omega. It's going to be a tough choice there, because, yeah. Attack and skill is a great increase for Omega, but at the same time, the question then is, should I even continue to use Omega in my Apex box? Right? If I can save up instead of summoning or drawing on this equipment banner, that would really, really help. So I'll have to make my decision soon about that, but we'll see. In terms of the character that I'm going to farm shards of once Ares is complete on the 21st, I'm still leaving that open in the air. I'm very, very torn on this one. I can upgrade Hiei to 6 stars, that's one option. I can start building up Arianrod, that's a second option. I can start building up Akaya, that's a third option. I'm leaning towards Akaya simply because it's going to take me 3 months to finish this. So it's going to be September to October, October to November, November to December. So by December, we're heading towards Apex Season 6, right? And that's the season where we can safely assume that the AoE meta is going to start dropping, which means having Ariane Rod complete by December may just have a character complete when she's going to start becoming obsolete in 2 months or so. So that's an iffy situation as a result, and that's why I'm kind of torn on what to do with the character that I'm building. Still, I mean, I'm still leaving it up in the air. I'm still trying to decide. Right? By comparison, if I build up Akaya, she's going to get her exclusive weapon, which allows her to summon a wolf right away around that time. So that would really help in terms of me using Akaya. And that's why I'm still kind of torn on what to do there. I'm very much leaning towards Akaya though, rather than Ariane Rod. But at the same time, keep in mind, I still have to consider, like, do I build up Hiei? When do I upgrade my Hiei to 6 stars? So, bunch of choices for the 22nd. That new hero that I grind. Alright, so with all this mentioned, let's jump back into the game. And first things first, let's see. In terms of my account, one thing I'm considering is potentially changing my Landius gear. Not right now, but I'm having to consider it because with the existence of both Ariane Rod and Lancer Landiuses and so on, I'm now having to consider if I should change my Landius from Cavalry class to a Lancer class instead. Right? So that's one thing that I'm considering. If I change him to Grand Marshal, I may change up his gear entirely. Right? Don't get me wrong, he can still use the exact same set except for this sword. Right? But we'll see about that. I may keep the current set and just replace the sword with thorns, or I may just change it so that he has maybe a full moon set rather than this thorn set. That's one decision I'll have to make. with regards to my Landius. But if I do change him to Lancer class, it probably won't be until for the playoffs, as opposed to right away. And my hope, actually, truthfully speaking, my hope is that I'm going to get a Swordsmith medal to give him as well, so that my tank is tougher than he currently is. So we'll see. There's no particular rush in changing the gear on my Landius, it's just something I'm considering. Shard farming for now continues to be the same 3 characters, right? It'll be the same 30 for another 2 weeks, which continues to be Ares to finish him up because he needs just 42 shards. It's going to be Licorice because I want to get her to 6 stars since she's going to fit into my box very smoothly. And the last character that I'm currently grinding is Ring. I haven't really used him much, but he's a great character. So these are the 3 that I'm going to be grinding for quite some time until Ares is done. Once Ares is done, I'll decide on someone new to build, but we'll see. But yeah, there's, as I mentioned, Hiei to 6 stars is one character that I want to build to 6 stars. Listel to 6 stars, another character that I really want to finish up. Angelina is a potential character to finish up as well. So there's a whole bunch of characters that I do use and I should bring to 6 stars. Even Rachel. I mean, I don't use my Rachel for PvP, so that's why I've left her at 5 stars. But raising her up to 6 stars, raising Bernhardt up to 6 stars, opens up options. So there's a whole bunch of characters that I can build up that I have not done yet. Alright, let's move on. So next up then would be the gambling I actually didn't pick up my strategy squad reward yet. It showed up basically today. So we can see here, I'm going to get 1200 additional crystals here this week. I'm going to be getting another 20 vouchers for strategist rewards very soon. So that gives me a good amount of summons where I can either save this up to maybe draw for either Rosalia or Naomi, or draw for or draw on the equipment banner for Omega. So some decisions that need to be made there. In terms of the ongoing events, the one that's running right now anyways primarily is just Trails of Truth, and I'm basically caught up, right? I wasn't playing much this weekend, but I did catch up on pretty much all the battles. So there's just, I think, we've done 5 plot battles so far. So I think there's just 2 left, right? This, which is in the Silver Light tomorrow, and then after that would presumably be the battle in Dimensional Chaos. Because most of these battles so far has been, or most of these events so far has been 7 plot battles, and then followed by, I think, 5 challenge battles. So the event's moving along. In terms of farming this event, I haven't done any farming yet. So I've just done each of those battles once to get the rewards from them. And so no farming has been done yet. Some people have mentioned that there's several items that are useful, like these Wheels of Fate that gives you an additional Gate of Fate run. There's, of course, the usual SSR weapon, accessory, and so on. There's actually a Surge Stone selection pack. So you can get 1 Surge Stone of any kind. And you can get 4 of them here. And of course, the Ultina shards. So this event has quite a few useful items. Right? These Wheels of Fate, you're getting 18 of them. So you can do 18 additional Gates of Fate runs, which is always nice. And of course, a free runestone, so on and so forth. I'm going to start farming the event once I get the level 55 maps unlocked. So last week I've saved up quite a bunch of burgers, so I have 12 on hand, so I can finish up the event pretty quickly. Moving on then, so I did not extract the memory shards that I got from the last 2 banners, so I have a lot of memory shards to get. So I did around 200 summons between the 2 banners, which is going to give me 6,000 memory essence. So let's just extract all of that right now. And so I now have 6,594 memory essence. I'm going to save that for next month's 2 SSR accessories, and I'm not going to purchase this runestone as a result. So no runestone for this month, but frankly, I don't particularly need the runestones anymore. You get enough runestones between the Trails of Truth event, between doing the SSRS Timeless Trial so that you get 1 runestone every month here, and between getting the extra runestone from the guild store every month, that's already 3 runestones. Right? So even though I'm skipping the one in the store, which would theoretically be a 4th runestone, I don't need it at the end of the day. You can function without it. I think it's more important to continue to gamble for the SSR accessories because that's what's really holding me back in the Apex arena right now. So other than that, I guess because I got 14 SSR items last week, I currently do have 1,385 Aura Column ore on hand. So let's just do my gambles right now. So headgear, Dark Crown is garbage. Twilight Helmet is garbage. Carbon Fiber Helmet, also garbage. So 3 items were bad. Twilight Armor is garbage. Assault Suit is also garbage. Death's Robe, all 6 gambles were garbage. So you know what? Let's just ore them. And yeah, unfortunate, but not surprised at the same time. Actually, let's go into the alchemy page. It's easier to find items here because it only shows unequipped items at this page. So I'm going to get rid of all 6 items that I just got, which is 1, 2, Dark Crown, Twilight Helmet, Twilight Armor, and the Assault Suit. And that gives me 600 ore back. So at this point, I think I'm actually going to gamble the weapons as well. Might as well. I only need 1 last Extreme Magic Bow, and I'm really not looking for any other weapon. But 2 Nighthawks and a Broken Star. So all 9 gambles this week were total garbage. Oh well. What can you do? I mean, this kind of stuff happens every now and then. So hopefully I'll get some useful items from battles this week rather than gambles. Fingers crossed. Yeah, there's just not very many items that I'm looking for at this point. It's just they would make a big difference. The remaining items that I need would make a big difference. If I can get that Extreme Magic Bow, I don't care about any other weapons. If I can get a few more Last Rites and Tenyo's headdresses especially, then I'm done there. So it's just the final few items, all for Apex Arena rather than for PvE content. Alright, so training ground wise, over the course of last week, I don't think I did all that much. Cavalry training ground is at 50, 68, 68, so it just needs 1 last upgrade, in my opinion, which just needs burning straps. So once I get 6 more burning straps, I'll have the cavalry training ground upgraded as far as I personally want it for now. Yes, I'm aware I can raise the hit points on these Royal Cavalry, but I don't feel I need to. It's in a, with the 70% defense and magic defense and 50% hit points, it's in a good enough state. For the Flyer and Aquatic, this one I am still kind of upgrading, but I'm focusing more on increasing the defense and magic defense stats at this point. So the big problem is they use pretty sprays. Okay. And it's a problem because I need pretty sprays for the Holy and Demon training ground as well. So this tech doesn't use it. This tech uses the burning straps and devout gloves. But the other 3 use pretty sprays and devout gloves. So right now, what I'm kind of doing is I am gathering up the pretty sprays to do upgrades, but for now, I'm focusing on upgrading disjoint defense training, which doesn't use them. So I'm focusing on using the devout gloves with burning straps. And so I guess that's the kind of split in terms of resources for now. where I will be doing this one, which needs burning straps, and that will finish up this training ground as far as I'm concerned. A few things about this cavalry training ground though is I should finish up the group text, like the group charge technology, as well as these two, the fine steel hooves and the rapid route. So there are still 3 techs I'm interested in upgrading. This one, which decreases the damage you take when attacking, I'm actually not interested in upgrading. So there are still a few techs that I need to do here, but these ones use burning straps with dark necklaces, so it doesn't interfere with my other upgrades. This one does. Fine steel hooves interferes because it uses pretty sprays as well, but the others don't. So I should be able to get these ones done pretty smoothly, I think. Or at least, certainly I can get group charge done. The other 2 may have to wait till later, because once again, devout gloves on this tech, pretty sprays on this tech. Yeah, so I'll have to delay those upgrades. But cavalry training ground is almost fully complete. Flyer and aquatic. This one's I'm actually kind of struggling on what to do with, because there are still 5 soldiers that I use, okay, that are not fully upgraded. The first one is Griffin Knights, which is shared by characters like Luna, Angelina, Reen can potentially use these, for example. So there's a whole bunch of soldiers that I do use, or characters that I do use, that can use the Griffin Knight soldiers. So this is one potential upgrade that I can do, Griffin Knights. The second one is, of course, the Gargoyles. The Gargoyles is used by Listel primarily, but I do use Listel. So this is a second soldier, and actually, Ashram, who I have at 5 stars, also uses Gargoyles. So there's a bunch of soldiers, there's a bunch of heroes that I do use that can use these Gargoyles fully upgraded. The primary one here is Listel though. Third one is the Leviathans. Leviathans is used by Hiei, Omega, Gizarov, even Licorice. So it grants all of these characters the ability to move through the water terrain very easily. So on certain maps in Apex Arena, these soldiers are actually quite key. So it's another soldier that I actually want to have upgraded, which I'm probably going to do first. So even though this uses devout gloves, I'm probably going to finish up the Leviathans first, which means further delays on the Holy and Demon training ground in terms of completing it. Yeah, so I guess that's my current status. As for Holy and Demon, I kind of already covered it. It's just upgrading the core techs. The soldiers, except for the wizard, are fully upgraded. So it's actually looking pretty smooth. I may, right now what I'm doing is I'm finishing up the soldiers that I do use rather than finishing up the core techs. What I'm personally finding is the core techs are key for the playoffs, but I'm already eliminated from the playoffs, and the next playoffs is 3 months away. So I think it's better for me to just focus on upgrading the soldiers I can use in these 3 training grounds, and then start doing core techs after that. So I basically end up with 3 training grounds that are fully finished, or as finished as I want them to be. The other 3, which is Infantry, Lancer, and Archer and Assassin, they're going to be left as is. Unfortunate, but there's nothing I can do there. And I think that's pretty much it with my the current status of my account. I know I should be doing a video on the 21 Apex characters that I use. I just don't want to record it. It takes too long. We'll see. It's on my to-do list. I'll get around to it soon enough. But yeah, it'll be the 21 characters that I use for Apex Arena, as opposed to all the characters in my list, because there's just too many. If I actually go through this list, the characters I use, I think they go as far as Almeida here, who is at 5,000 power. So we're looking at, let's say, if I count the characters, it's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 47 characters in total. which is insane. So I am not going to record a video about 47 characters, or 48 if I include Jessica, because I actually use her as well. But yeah, so too many heroes that I actually use intermittently, so I'll just focus on the Apex team instead. Alright, so that will be it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you found this information useful to you. And on that note, Nitro out.